Not only has there been a revolt at the US Attorney's Office in Minnesota, there are also growing tensions on the ground as protesters in the wake of Good's killing clash with the thousands of ICE agents that have been deployed in the area, and there are thousands. So unfortunately, you will see terrible video of ICE agents acting with impunity because they know, based on the White House's response following the fatal shooting of Good, that they can act with impunity, that Trump will come out or a representative or spokesperson from DHS will come out and refer to the person that was gunned down by a militarized federal agent as a domestic terrorist before knowing a single thing about her or him. So the immigration crackdown operation has now grown to 2,000 federal agents. And yesterday, the Trump administration announced that they are planning to deploy an additional 100 CBP officers. Local leaders and immigrant rights groups have decried the agents' conduct, saying that they have been stopping people based only on looks and accents. Often, these stops have led to violent arrests of both immigrants and American citizens, and that's according to local officials and observers who have recorded mayhem using cell phones. So I want to share some of that evidence with you, including one of the videos which shows federal agents dragging a woman out of her car just a couple of blocks from where Renee Good was shot. You guys feel good and free? Don't feel like you're living in a third world police state? Here was another case of a woman in Minneapolis who was actually protesting, was protesting ICE operations. So in the video we just showed you, it was a woman who was just driving. Anyway, the next one, you actually do have a protester. Let's take a look at that.
Patty O'Keefe says she and a friend were following ICE agents on Sunday. When they were stopped, their car pepper sprayed and their windows smashed before being taken to a federal detention center.
3 ICE agents that were in the car with me immediately started taunting me. The driver of the car said, you guys got to stop obstructing us. That's why that lesbian is dead.
O'Keefe says she was held for 8 hours before being released without charges.
Released without charges because she didn't commit a crime. So I just want to understand, and I'm asking a serious question. If there are any conservatives watching the show right now, I genuinely want to know, and I'm asking politely. I know that this isn't happening in your part of town. It's very unlikely happening in your part of the town. Usually these ICE agents are deployed in blue cities, blue states. I get it. But would you enjoy this in your city or your town? Would you be okay with ICE agents knocking door to door, asking whether or not the people living in the home are American citizens? Would you be okay knowing your child, for instance, is at Target working and gets harassed by an ICE agent demanding answers when you know your kid is an American citizen, doesn't have to answer a damn thing, number one, doesn't need to be harassed while at work at a Target parking lot, gets roughed up by the ICE agents, and then later bloodied and dropped off at a Walmart? Would you be okay with that? Because let me just say something. Let's say we live in a weird topsy-turvy world where we have President Joe Biden doing what Trump is doing now, but specifically deploying militarized federal agents in red parts of this country, Republican parts of this country. I'd be horrified because I don't want to live in a police state and I don't want my fellow Americans to be brutalized like this. And I just don't really understand how the small government Republicans who are always purporting to be terrified of government tyranny are like pleasuring themselves to this stuff based on what I'm seeing online. Partisan brain rot has destroyed this country to a point where we have so effectively dehumanized each other, so effectively. All you have to do is identify as a Democrat, and you'll have a significant portion of Republican voters dehumanizing you, and vice versa. By the way, vice versa. And it's wrong, and the country is not going to survive under that type of atmosphere and that type of culture. So, at a different ICE protest in Santa Ana, and we can't show you guys this video. Number one, it's too gruesome. Number two, it's copyrighted. There was a protester bleeding from the head, it appears, after being hit with a rubber bullet. He was then dragged by a DHS officer into a federal building. Now, this individual is a 21-year-old. Federal agents have also repeatedly used flashbangs and pepper spray against protesters. During my CNN panel, we actually debated those protests and the actions of ICE. And I pointed out the fact that, under a different president who actually deported far more people, we didn't see this type of chaos on the streets. Let's take a look.
And there's no one out there celebrating what happened except for maybe the fringes of fringe on X. People generally accept that this was a tough call. I think a lot of people are on the side.
DHS came out immediately and called her a domestic terrorist.
No, I'm sorry, no, that was a response. That was a response.
About normalizing militarized federal agents roaming the streets under the false pretense of mass deportations. I'm sorry, but the deporter-in-chief, Barack Obama, didn't have militarized ICE agents roaming the streets in order to do the proper operations. Why?
And that's what are doing right now. And I honestly can't. I can't handle the polite discussions about this. I can't. Like, every administration, our quality of life and our rights are degraded. And it's because everything just gets normalized. And I don't want this normalized. I believe in protecting our borders. Sorry to the open borders people. I think you're wrong. I think it's important to enforce our immigration laws. However, I am not in favor of the federal government doing what it's doing right now. I am not okay with seeing militarized federal agents roaming the streets. Now, I want to move on to the public and how they're feeling about this, okay? Because the majority of the public agrees with me that ICE's brutal conduct is unnecessary. I'm not being crazy. I don't have TDS. I believe in American values, and what we're seeing on our streets is against American values. And turns out, this Quinnipiac poll finds the majority of Americans agree with me. 57% of Americans disapprove of the way ICE is enforcing immigration laws. 57%, only 40% approve. And that 40%, I assure you, are on the right. But if the tables were turned, the numbers and the demographics would flip. Because if you are afflicted by partisan brain rot, you think everything is okay when your side does it. Think for yourself, okay? Exit the cult. It's destroying the country. Ken Klippenstein writes in his new scoop, according to documents leaked to me, not only is the department seeking volunteers for the apparently unpopular mission, it is urging its agents to maintain a low profile and comply with the use of force policies. Please just comply with the law, please. But if you don't worry. We're not going to punish you. We'll just smear the person who's either maimed or killed. And they're looking for volunteers. So apparently in part due to opposition within the ranks, according to Border Patrol agents and other Homeland Security workers who have reached out to me. Please begin canvassing your personnel for volunteers. A memo sent by the Border Patrol's acting assistant chief, Joshua Andrew, post on Friday. Things are bad. And anyone who thinks what we're experiencing is normal is wrong. And if we let this kind of behavior stand, if we allow this growth of federal power to interject themselves in our lives like this, I don't know where this ends. But freedom isn't free. You have to fight for it. And freedom isn't a mainstay. It can very easily be taken away. And right now, I know there's a lot going on in the news, but what we're seeing on our streets is not normal. People shouldn't be brutalized like this.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. totally not true. But it does keep you updated on our live shows.